Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, just give us 1 or 2 more minutes and then we will absolutely start. So just hang for 1 or 2 minutes because I think there's still some people walking down. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the 13th annual pinning ceremony of the Middlesex College Nursing Program. My name is Nancy Berger, and I am the proud director of this program, and I am absolutely thrilled that all of you are here with us today. Before we begin, I do have some housekeeping items that we need to talk about. First, I do need everybody to keep their masks on while they are in the building. Now, you will notice that I just took mine down. You will see that when the speakers come up here to speak, we are taking our masks down because we are far from everybody. We have cleaning things here, so we have everything under control here. We all know that the rules keep changing, but as of today, these are the rules that we must maintain today. So please keep your masks on while in the building. Number 2, when we're finished, I'm going to ask if you would please, on your way out, take a look at the display to the left as you leave here. There are some very nice things about the students that are in that display, so do take a little bit of time to look there. And lastly, I'm going to ask everybody to either turn off or silence your cell phones. Okay, so this is a wonderful occasion where we recognize our next generation of nurses. As you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic put a huge monkey wrench in the world's plans. However, one of the concepts that our graduates were taught from the very beginning, from day one of their nursing education, is the need to be flexible. And boy, oh boy, flexible we all have been. The entire nursing profession, including those actively working at the bedside, nurse educators, and student nurses, were tested beyond belief to continue to deliver exceptional education and care. Graduates, your dedication, resilience, and perseverance have helped you get to where you are today. Tracy Ortelli, who is the president of the New Jersey League for Nursing, shared the following, and I cannot agree with this statement more. We offer a special acknowledgement to the nursing students who are entering our profession at a time when you are needed the most, and we all thank you very much. At this time, please join me in welcoming, and don't stand until the end when you hear your name, Vice President of Nursing, who's on her way, Vice President of Nursing, Chief Nursing Officer of Raritan Bay Medical Center, Hackensack Meridian Health, Dr. Jane O'Rourke, the President of Middlesex College, Dr. Mark McCormick, the Vice President of Academic Affairs at Middlesex College, Dr. Linda Scher, the Vice President of Institutional Effectiveness at Middlesex College, Dr. Jeffrey Herron, the Acting Dean of Business, STEM, and Health Professions at Middlesex College, Dr. Donna Howell, the Executive Dean of Student and Enrollment Services at Middlesex College, Jose Laureano, and the Counselor from Counseling Services at Middlesex College, Jason Homewood. Will all of those dignitaries please stand to be recognized? Because of the busyness of this time of year, I just want to mention that some of our dignitaries might need to leave before the end of the program. So I don't want you to wonder why all of a sudden people may be exiting the stage. It's not us, it's just the busyness of the time. At this time, I also would like you to please join me in welcoming the fabulous program coordinator, course coordinators, faculty, and staff of the nursing program, who have personally assisted your graduates in all of their successes. I am blessed to work with an amazing group of professionals who have given all of their knowledge, wisdom, and energy to your graduates. Don't get up till we're done. Mary Adams, Pat Balsama, Liz Burney, Ellen Bodie, Laura Baruso, Julia Constantine, Christine D'Agostino, Julie DeHanes, Katie Franchi, Dawn Fusito, Bobby George, Pam Hicks, Kathy Howard, Mary Huggins, Tina Marie Lamar, Pearl Marcus, Jackie McKelvey, Donna Meyer, Teresa Paulucci, Dr. Catherine Pornaselvin, Joanne Price, Rowan Reyes, Dr. Tracy Siegel, Maggie Valentine, Margie Vang, and Judith Wilson. Please stand to be recognized. At this time, I would like to call upon Dr. Mark McCormick, President of Middlesex College, to bring some greetings.
Thank you, Mrs. Berger. Good morning. So I was just talking to my colleague Linda earlier, sitting on the stage staring at all of you. I love this event. It's one of my favorite events of the year. It's a very moving event, having your family and loved one pin you after 2 years of hard work. But I want to say for the first time in almost 2 years, year and a half, I'm so glad to see all of you and to have you here with us today. I want to say three things that you probably heard before, but you want to hear them again as you end your journey here at Middlesex College. Number one is be thankful. And you heard Mrs. Berger indicate that you didn't make it here alone. Certainly all the hard work was yours, but you were supported all the way through by amazing faculty and staff, many of whom are here behind me on stage, and the people sitting next to you and others who are home, who made sure you had the support you needed to get to where you are. Any big thing you accomplish in life, you don't do on your own. There's others lifting you up and getting you there. So thanks to your family and friends, your loved ones, and especially your faculty and staff. Number two is be forward thinking. You've heard Mrs. Berger and your faculty say all along, this is not the end of your journey, it's one step in your journey. And if you're going to keep going in the field of nursing or elsewhere in life, you're going to need more education and more training. So don't give up, get your BSN, and go from there. So keep on looking ahead to the future and getting what you can to be who you want to be in your career. And the last is be proud. You made it, right? So 2 years ago, you started, almost 2 years ago, and you may not have realized the daunting journey you were on. And as Mrs. Berger said, it was complicated, of course, by COVID, but even without COVID, nursing is a difficult career path, right? It's a hard course of study. It takes lots of effort and perseverance and getting up and trying again. But you made it. You made it to the very end. You made it together as a cohort. You supported one another as students. So be proud of your accomplishment. Be proud of today. Celebrate, and congratulations.
So interesting. Oops. It's so interesting because you're going to hear some similar things because we didn't coordinate what we were saying. And so much of what Dr. McCormick said and so much of what I'm going to say is because it's so true of everything that's happened in the last couple of years. So let me start by sharing that attending nursing school, as you know, is not an easy task, and it can take a toll not only on the student, but as Mark alluded to, everybody who interacts with that student. Many of you joined your then newly admitted students for our orientation to the nursing program a few years ago. Do some of you remember that? Do you remember being with us that day? And I mentioned to you then that because of FERPA laws, FERPA is like HIPAA, but it's for education, it would be the last time that we were able to speak with you until our pinning ceremony, which would be at the end of your students' program. Well, here we are. We thank you, family and friends, for all that you have done in helping your graduate to be successful. So at this time, I'm asking all of the significant others to please stand and be recognized. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. I would next like to welcome 2 members of the class of 2021 to offer greetings. First, please welcome Heather Jo Braunstein to the stage.
Good afternoon to the faculty, dignitaries and staff, my fellow peers, and honored guests. I am incredibly honored to speak to all of you today. I want to begin by saying congratulations. We made it. The day is finally here, and it feels so surreal. If there's one thing that was drilled into our brains more than anything, it is the importance of documentation. So let's document the last 2 years of our lives. It seems like just yesterday, we were all comparing seat cushions we bought on Amazon for the uncomfortable seats in our lecture hall. Let's not forget our exams and trying to figure out which answer is the best out of 4 correct answers. Remember thinking, how is this fair? Or how is this even allowed? Or how about all of those early mornings waking up for clinical, but of course stopping for coffee first? We went from being afraid to waking up our patients to advocating for each and every one of them. It truly is amazing how much we have grown from the first semester and have reached the beginning of our next chapter. It is true when Ms. Facito said at our orientation that when you are in nursing school, your whole family is in nursing school too. I invite you all to take a deep breath of relief now. I know I can speak for all of us that we would not be standing here today if it weren't for our friends, family, and faculty support, and fortunately, the great Wi-Fi connection we all have in our homes. Despite how challenging 2020 was for us all, there is such a special bond that this class shares. To my peers, from attending class in person to then enrolling in Zoom University, we have all supported each other every step of the way. I'm sure I can speak for all of us that we have made some lifelong friends. Let us continue our education from here. As Dr. Seuss said, the more that you learn, the more places you'll go. I wish us all success in our future endeavors as new nurses. We are the future of healthcare. To the faculty, we are very grateful and want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You have taught us so much beyond care plans and NCLEX strategies. You've challenged us and prepared us for what was to come. You are more than just instructors. You are all the nurses that we aspire to be. Although we have now become colleagues, I think it will take more time than studying for NCLEX to call you by your first names. I am sure we are all familiar with this saying, if you didn't document it, then you didn't do it. Now that our last 2 years have been documented, this means that we have officially done it and should be very proud of ourselves. Let's take that next leap into our future. Congratulations to our future nurses, the class of 2021. Thank you.
Next, please welcome Brittany Guzman Swain to the stage.
Whoa. Look at all of us gathered here today. We made it, and our journey here at Middlesex College is only the beginning. Think back for a moment to our orientation 2-3 years ago. We were all excited, got our Middlesex College merchandise and our blue scrubs, made sure we had our solid white, fluid-proof, yet semi-comfortable shoes for clinicals. Who would have guessed what was in store for us? We made it as nursing students, despite standing in front of the face of a global pandemic. We adjusted, although not easy, to new learning methods, to keep pressing forward, to be able to reach our nursing goals. All the long nights we sacrificed learning to prioritize who's the sickest of all our sick patients, our mnemonics such as morphine, oxygen, nitroglycerin, aspirin for the patient with an MI, and the nursing process for many, many, many conditions was well worth it in the end. And let's not forget the first time we did our VSIM, both virtually and in person. Our hands were all clammy, our minds were drawing a blank. We were a nervous wreck, even though we were constantly reassured that this was a simulation to prepare us for real-life nursing. We did that. Now, our journey here together can be likened to that of a rock climber. Rock climber, yeah. Sorry, I lost my spot. Now, rock climbers don't snap their fingers and bam, they're at the top of a mountain. They start at the bottom with the equipment they need with the intent of reaching the top. Now, as they journey upward, they may get a little scuffed up, a little bruised, slip a little down, and may even need to take some breaks to recoup. But their eye is ultimately set on the prize, and that is reaching the top. We are all rock climbers, and here we are today at the top of the mountain enjoying the view. It doesn't matter how long it took us to climb the mountain or the little impeding elements that tried to turn us around. It's the fact that we made it that counts, and I'm so proud of each and every one of us for making it this far against any of the odds that were put up against us. I want to give a special thanks to all the staff members for guiding us through, listening to us, and joining us in our adjusted virtual learning experience. I also want to give a special shout out to all the students who joined together during these difficult times to help one another out. And let's not forget our friends, family, and even our pets who put up with our stress-induced, sleep-deprived, social isolation to make it through. We appreciate you guys. Now, to conclude, I would like for all my fellow nursing graduate students to listen closely. Put yourself in your nursing shoes and just imagine the impact we're about to have in the lives of others. That holding of a scared, lonely patient's hand as they're rushed off to the OR with no one else but you to comfort them. Being that nurse to witness and welcome a new life into the world after years of infertility struggles and seeing the tears of joy run down that new mom's face. Being there and reassuring your dying patient that they will not die alone as they take their last breath in your arms. Can you see yourself here? Here we are, and I cannot wait for the impact and journey we have ahead of us. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to welcome Dr. Jane O'Rourke, Vice President of Nursing, Chief Nursing Officer of Raritan Bay Medical Center, Hackensack Meridian Health.
Thank you, Nancy. A big day has finally come, right? Okay, good afternoon, all graduates, honored guests, family members, faculty, friends. I'd like to first extend congratulations, best wishes, with so much pride from the Raritan Bay family and the Hackensack Meridian family. It's a great day when we can celebrate some new members into our healthcare community. As part of nursing education, the pinning ceremony goes back to when Queen Victoria presented a pin to Florence Nightingale for her pioneering work during the Crimean War. Florence Nightingale is still my hero because she was a pioneer, and it's always, let's look at how we can make this better. Let's look at how we can do this differently. And I think that that's never been so vivid to me as it has been this past year when we looked for innovative ways to care for our patients in the very best way possibly as we went through the pandemic. Today, a pin may be presented to a nursing student by a faculty member, a mentor, or a loved one as a symbolic welcome to the profession, to my profession, of which I'm very, very proud to be a part of. My own pinning was so many years ago, seems like a lifetime ago, but it's still a memory that overwhelms me with emotion. And as I inched closer and closer to being more of a nurse as I saw myself as each year went by, that pin meant more and more. It's not easy to think of something original to say to a group of enthusiastic future nurses. I believe a good suggestion is to speak from the heart, the one that speaks from nurses to nurses. After digging deep into my heart, hoping to channel my friend Florence, I decided to share my impressions of what patients thank us for when they say, "Thank you, nurse." Over the years, I've noticed that predominant theme that comes from the thank you cards from patients. They are trying to express their gratitude, and they don't really know how to do it, so they talk about all the things that the nurses have done for them. Answering the call light, speaking compassionately, giving them something to drink, placing the phone by their ear when they're unable to hold it, bringing them the newspaper, and yes, holding the iPad up in front of their face as they were dying so they could see their loved one, and they're holding the nurse's hand so that contact is there as the patient looks into the picture of their loved one on the iPad. Those are things I will never forget from this year. I never heard a patient say, "Thanks, nurse, that catheter was really fabulous." But many patients recall, even years later, the small things that you did for them to make them comfortable. Recently, when I reread Florence Nightingale's Notes on Nursing, What It Is and What It Isn't, I realized she was writing about similar little things, referring to keeping bedside spotless and other environmental issues. She often admonished if a nurse declines to do these kinds of things because it is not his or her business, I would say to that person, nursing is not their calling. These little seemingly menial gestures may not get us nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, but as with peacemakers, what nurses do moves and soothes the human heart and spirit. The enchanting, though not entirely mysterious thing that as we strive to bring positive changes in our patients' lives, we're transformed ourselves. I'm certainly not the same nurse person that I was 40 years ago. To our new nurse colleagues, I'd like to stress that whatever field of nursing you pursue, don't forget to do all the little things, share all your knowledge, and invoke Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing. Today, nurses walk a delicate line between tradition, technology, computer skills, and compassionate service. And I enjoyed the statement about Zoom University. I'm going to remember that one. To bring greater awareness to their challenge, I sometimes ask nursing students, if you were Florence Nightingale, what would you do if your patient's arterial blood gas results showed a pH of 7.25, carbon dioxide of 58, bicarb of 29, and a partial pressure of arterial oxygen of 80? One time a student replied without missing a beat, I'd open the windows to provide pure air, hold the patient's hand, and call for immediate intubation. I grinned and thought the perfect combination of what we call the art and the science of nursing. As you embark on the future, remember you are the future of nursing. I will ask you always to be proud of the important work you do. I also wish you the joy and fulfillment that nursing has given me. Some say nursing is a career. Others say it's a career but not a job. I will go a step further and say if it's a life's work. So I wish you all the best and that you would enjoy your life's work. You know, it's quite special, even though you may not have thought of it as you went through it, to get through a good part of your education during the pandemic. One thing that, many things come back to my mind when I think of the pandemic, but another one is when we say never stop learning, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Every day you have to learn something different because that's what makes you the future of nursing. I remember every morning sitting with very experienced and well-known healthcare individuals in their field of the different specialties of medicine and nursing. And as the pandemic got started, we sat around and say, okay, what do we do? The first time we realized that the x-rays look a little different for somebody with COVID, the chest x-rays, this ground glass look. So before we had all the tests we have now, we'd look at the x-rays. Every day we learn something different. And I can tell you, even now, we are learning something different every day on how to move forward. So I ask you, please, to never stop learning. And the other last thing I want to comment on is the bond that was mentioned by the students who spoke before me. The bond you have between you. You will always have that bond, not just with your fellow students, but with those with whom you care for patients. And I think of bond, again, let me go back to my days in the ICU last year when we're all masked up, and I could see the bond in the nurses' eyes when they looked at me and I looked back at them. Their whole face was covered. They had a face shield on too. But I could see their eyes and how the look in their eyes were bonding them with one another and with me and with everybody else who was caring for that patient. Never forget the bonds. Never forget to keep learning. And never forget that you are privileged to be a nurse. It's not a right. It is a privilege. So use that privilege well. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. O'Rourke. As most of you know, the year 2020 was designated by the World Health Organization as the Year of the Nurse and Midwife, in recognition of the 200th anniversary of Florence Nightingale, who was the foundational philosopher of modern nursing and whose efforts led to the first scientifically based nursing school in London in 1860. Her efforts and the efforts of all of those who followed have helped the world to realize the unbelievably important role that nurses have in healthcare and society. In 2021, the emphasis on nursing was even more pronounced because of the tremendous impact that COVID-19 continued to have on all of our lives. This pandemic created havoc for everyone. Some of you who are here today with us suffered from the virus yourself. Some of you lost loved ones to the virus. Many of you lost employment, and many of you worked overtime in healthcare and other essential positions to assist the needs of society. Many of our graduates experienced all of this while finishing their formal nursing education. None of us expected your nursing education to be completed in a remote or hybrid setting, with many of you having children at home who you needed to teach as well, and while caring for other family members, friends, and patients. Many of you did this with a decrease in resources and funds. Going to nursing school is very hard without all of these other factors. So this year, we believe it is the year of the student nurse as well. Congratulations to all of you, our graduates, who were challenged in ways beyond comprehension and persevered in completing your nursing education. Many people ask, and certainly have asked me, why does nursing school have to be so hard? Can't you just make it easier? Don't you know that we are in a pandemic? My response always is and always was that nurses have one of the most difficult roles in healthcare, making a huge contribution to the health of society. Because of these, we have very high standards for getting into our program and very high standards for continuing and graduating from our program, yes, even during the pandemic. So congratulations to you, our graduates, for maintaining these very high standards. I would now like to turn the microphone over to Mary Huggins, our program coordinator, who will present our graduates to you. After our graduates are pinned, Mary will also induct the newest members of our Student Nurse Honor Society, Delta Omicron chapter of Alpha Delta Nu, and share information regarding the projects which they undertook over the past few months. Mary?
Well, how happy are we to be here? Yay? So good afternoon and welcome to our pinning ceremony. As I call the student's name, please stand. After all the names have been called, your significant person can then pin you. Please hold your applause to the very end. Okay, let's begin with the first student, Yvonne Abwanji. John Agtarab. Yesenia Alvarez. May Mater Aoun. Aurelia Avila. Danielle Bowen. Heather Jo Braunstein. Abigail Buchaney. Stephanie Caceres. Joanna Cardona. Raquel Cardona. Christopher Chow. Tiana Colthurst. Brianna Craparata. Jenna De La Cruz. Leslie Del Salto. Crystal Ann Sebastian Dela Cruz. Nicole D'Amato. Joanna Dominguez. Dulce Drew. Alfred Enriquez Estoesta. Alana Fleming. Maria Galvez. Alice Gamez. Magdalena Gancio. Tiffany K. Geiling. Carla Giordano. Julia Giordano. Ashley Goddard. Cynthia V. Gomero. Lauren Gomez. Sukhjit Grol. Kristen Grisb. Brittany Guzman Swan. Nu Thu Hun. Haneen Isa. Ibrahim Kamara. Parneet Kaur. Simran Kaur. Yusuf Kunjundu. Robin Kish. Susan Kittler. Tracy Ann Knox. Tuba Cozy. Susie Kozlowski. Anna Kruk. Fang Lin. Sabina Lubis. Natalie Mancera. Sharice Mandry. Melia Marco. Tiffany K. McLeod. Kelly Mecca. Courtney McMahon. Karen Mesa. Diana Nee. Stephanie Warrior Najero. Johnny O. Nicole Paglio. Avelina Palaganis. Neelam Patel. Shivani Patel. Nicole Pfister. Adelisa Pichardo. Bradley Romeus. Anthony Sadati. Purnima Soni. Hannah Stool. Parvina Tahiri. Anthony Alexis Tubiachi. Alexis Ogbaha. Justina Warcall. Ann Williams. Nakia Wang Chung. Chriselle Yabanez. And Adam Zinner. Congratulations. Okay, now for the pinning part. This is the good part. So if your significant other could please stand, and if you could place the pin on the student's left side. Without sticking them. Okay. Is everybody pinned? Okay, officially, congratulations, Middlesex College nursing graduates, class of 2021. That's great. Congratulations all. Okay, next we're going to have the induction of the nursing students to the Honor Society. If everybody could take a seat, and we're going to do the induction. Okay, the faculty advisor for the Honor Society is Pamela Hicks. Unfortunately, Mrs. Hicks is not able to be here in person to present the inductees. However, she sends her warm wishes and congratulations to all. The Alpha Delta Nu Honor Society, Delta Omicron chapter, recognizes the academic excellence of students enrolled in the Middlesex College Associate Degree Nursing Program. Alpha Delta Nu inductees must maintain a 3.0 GPA and achieve a grade of B in each course. Each candidate must demonstrate conduct on campus and also in the clinical setting that reflects integrity and also professionalism. Prior to the COVID pandemic, potential candidates completed a community project. However, due to the restrictions with COVID, each inductee presented a well-researched scholarly paper on the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic within nursing or in an area of their interest. Some papers that were submitted were topics such as COVID and intensive care nursing, COVID-19, the impact on the nursing profession. I would like to now call the names of the inductees. Students, please stand when your name is called, and once again, I'll try to hold all of our applause until the end. Okay. First person, Jenna De La Cruz. Nicole D'Amato. Joanna Dominguez. Alana Fleming. Julia Giordano. Robin Kish. Sabina Lubis. Karen Mesa. Neelam Patel. Pranima Soni. Justina Warkle. And Crisel Yabanez. To all of our inductees, you exemplify academic excellence and professionalism. Congratulations to each of you. I would now like to introduce Dr. Catherine Pornasalvin. Dr. Pornasalvin is the faculty advisor for the Association of Middlesex College Nursing Students. She's going to share with you some of the achievements of this group. Dr. Pornasalvin.
Thank you, Mary. Good afternoon. We all know that nursing school is always busy and requires hard work, dedication, and passion. However, students do have an opportunity to showcase their talents and engage in some fun activities. Our Student Nurses Organization is known as AMCC-NS. This year's AMCC-NS election was a bit different than the previous years. Polling was done online, and the following elected officers were Susanna Kozlowski as president, Cindy Newtu as secretary, Crisel Yabes as vice president. Despite time limitations, AMCC-NS officers strive hard to do the following activities. Here are a few of the accomplishments. Our officers and students participated in the Career Clinic virtual walk, which they raised $550 towards the cause. Our students, along with the faculty, did a huge food drive for the MCC pantry during the week of Thanksgiving. They also organized a Halloween party to meet and greet the incoming freshmen. Students gave back to the healthcare community, which they strive to be a part of. Students drew cards, wrote inspirational messages for the nurses and other healthcare workers, and gave them at the Perth Amboy and Old Bridge hospitals. The proceeds of continuous fundraising efforts, such as selling T-shirts, were used to buy gifts for the nursing students during the Nurses' Day. At this time, I would like to recognize President Susanna Kozlowski. Please stand up. Secretary Cindy Newtu, and Vice President Crisel Yabes for their commitment to time, talent, and leadership. Thank you, everyone.
Between the Hackensack Meridian Health Foundation and private benefactors, we are lucky to offer awards to further acknowledge our graduates for a job well done. Please note that these awards may not be listed in your program in the same order that they will be called. However, when your name is called, please stand to be recognized. I will ask for any of the award winners today. At the very end, please come up to the stage. On the left side over there by Julie DeHanes, there's a table, and you will pick up your awards at the very end of this. The first award is from the New Jersey League for Nursing, which is the only organization in New Jersey in which nurses, allied healthcare providers, those providing employment for healthcare providers, nurse educators, and consumers network and foster leadership while promoting the positive image of the nurse. Every year, the New Jersey League for Nursing offers a graduate who has proven to be an excellent leader and student an honorary membership for the upcoming year. This year's recipient was the president of our student nurse organization, who did an outstanding job under the current circumstances. She continued to have the student nurse organization involved in activities and also represented us well at some of our shared governance meetings. This graduate also was recognized recently by the entire college as a student spotlight. The recipient of this award is Susie Kozlowski. Susie. The Dr. Surrender Grover Surgical Award and Pin are given to a student who has excelled in the area of care of the surgical patient. Each clinical day, this recipient provided excellent basic nursing care to patients and was extremely attentive to their needs. One day during lunch, this student was rounding the unit with another student and came upon a patient who looked like that patient was in distress. She and her partner reacted quickly, assessed the patient, intervened appropriately, and notified the faculty member. Their astuteness resulted in the activation of a rapid response, which is a medical emergency. She and her partner were commended for their accurate assessments and quick intervention. On another occasion, the nurse manager sought out the clinical instructor after overhearing this recipient interacting with some patients, some of whom were not even the ones she was caring for. The nurse manager told the instructor that she was in awe of what she witnessed and how professional this student was in dealing with these patients. The words the nurse manager used were some of the highest praise that this instructor had ever heard about a student. Finally, on the last day of clinical, she and a partner listened to a patient who expressed concern that he had not been receiving his antihypertensive and anti-diabetic medications since being admitted to the hospital 24 hours beforehand. She and her partner reviewed the electronic health record and realized that a medication reconciliation had not been done. They immediately reported it to the primary RN. This year's Dr. Surrender Grover Surgical Awardee is Heather Braunstein. The Kathleen M. Clayton Memorial Award is offered by one of our past faculty members, Susan Ellison, in memory of her sister, Kathleen Clayton. It is offered to a student who has consistently demonstrated kindness and compassion to patients. This awardee provided outstanding nursing care and was extremely compassionate and empathetic, immersing herself in providing the best care possible for her patients. She approached all care from a holistic standpoint, demonstrating through words and actions that compassionate, safe care was her priority. Her performance in clinical was so outstanding, if one did not know she was a student, one might think that she already was an RN. Almost every week, the nurses she had worked with approached the clinical instructor to compliment her on her performance. Her written work was so well done that her instructor has asked for her permission to use them as exemplars for the future. The recipient of this year's Kathleen M. Clayton Award is Stephanie Najero. The Dr. H. Shangold Pediatric Memorial Award is given to a student who has excelled in the care of children. This student shared with a clinical instructor her interest in working in pediatrics after graduation. She asked excellent questions and was always an active participant in the group discussions. This year's Dr. Shangold Pediatric Awardee is Nicole D'Amato. Another Dr. Shangold Memorial Awardee excelled in the area of maternal child nursing. This graduate maintained a positive approach to every situation encountered, demonstrating flexibility in adapting to changes in patient situations. His positive attitude was a pleasure to work with, and he always assisted classmates in making each experience a rewarding one. He consistently sought out ways to improve himself and many times went beyond what was expected of him. This graduate consistently maintained a respectful and professional attitude with faculty, peers, and patients. This awardee is Anthony Sadati. Another Shangold Award is being presented to a student who excelled in the area of behavioral health. This graduate was highly motivated to learn, posed great questions to others, and was detail-oriented. She always came prepared and participated fully during theory and simulation. This student was caring, optimistic, cheerful, and pleasant. At one point, this awardee shared with her instructor that she assisted the nurses in confidently caring for a very agitated patient. This year's awardee was also the recipient of a Middlesex College Academic Division Award for the student in our program with the highest GPA. This awardee is Sabina Lubis. Another Shangold Award is being given to a graduate who also had one of the highest GPAs in our graduates. This graduate was an excellent student who consistently performed at a high level during clinical experiences. She was always focused and prepared when interacting with patients and significant others. This Shangold Award winner is Karen Messa. Dr. Paul Zito was an outstanding surgeon on the medical staff of Raritan Bay Medical Center for almost 40 years. He was very interested in the education of nursing students and believed that the student who demonstrated the most improvement should receive recognition. This year's recipient demonstrated leadership qualities and was usually the first student in a clinical group to start a conversation and take the lead. He was not afraid to ask questions. One of this graduate's clinical instructors recalled a situation when a patient was to have a blood transfusion and was scared and anxious. This awardee communicated with the patient, offering support, acting as that patient's advocate. This graduate commented that what was very important to him was the emotional state of the patient. This graduate is strong-willed, self-determined, and very kind-heartedness, and that is one of his best advocates. The Dr. Zito Progressive Awardee is Adam Zinner. Adam could not be here today, but we will be sure that he gets his award. And that leads us to the Daisy Award. The Daisy Award is given to an extraordinary nursing student based on the following: demonstrates commitment to compassionate care of patients and families, makes a connection with patients, families, and peers by building trust and respect, advocates strongly for patients and families, and demonstrates kindness to patients, families, and peers. I've been the director for about 9 years, and I have to tell you that this is my first experience where an awardee was nominated by 3 peers. So here is a synopsis of their thoughts. I don't know where to begin when describing this amazing individual. She is always looking out for her classmates and goes out of her way to help them. She coached me back into a safe spot in this program. Like runners in a race, she had slowed down for me and gave me the water and encouragement I needed to cross the finish line. With this fast-paced world we are living in, it is hard to come across someone whose kindness, compassion, and trusting spirit moves you. She always looks for new challenges. She took the opportunity to learn something new and summarized her experience and new knowledge with the rest of her clinical group. I was so proud to see her shine. I would not have been as successful as I have been the past few semesters if it had not been for her. She has an exceptional skill in precision note-taking. She always knows when something is bothering her peers. Once, there was a new team member on the nursing unit who was having trouble adapting. This awardee lent her a hand even though she did not have to do this in her role as a student nurse. She is a beacon of light to any nurse who has a chance to work with her. Every time she walks out of her patients' rooms, they are smiling or laughing because they recognize the genuineness in her care. In this nomination, it was said, "Caring is the essence of nursing." What better way to embody that quote than to recognize May Aoun? And May, I have to tell you that 3 of your peers nominated you. And so at the end of this, I'm going to ask those 3 people to please come up as well because we have something for you as well. Please join me again in offering congratulations to all of our award winners. At this point, I would ask all nurses and graduate nurses to please rise and join me in reciting the International Pledge for Nurses, which is found at the back of your program. Any nurses in the house, please rise. Any graduate nurses in the house, please rise. It's on the back of your program. Please repeat after me. In the full knowledge of the obligations I am undertaking, I promise to care for the sick with all the skill and understanding I possess. Without regard to race, creed, color, politics, or social status. Sparing no effort to conserve life, to alleviate suffering, and to promote health. I will respect at all times the dignity and religious beliefs of the patients under my care. Holding in confidence all personal information entrusted to me. And refrain from any action which might endanger life or health. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skill at the highest level. And to give loyal support and cooperation to all members of the health team. I will do my utmost to honor the International Code of Ethics applied to nursing. And to uphold the integrity of the nurse. Thank you. So, class of 2021. As you leave Middlesex College and move on to exciting opportunities in the nursing field, I ask you to please remember a few things. 1, care for yourself. As you take care of others, remember that you cannot adequately do so unless you take care of yourself as well. 2, always remember your roots. You will soon be interacting in your new roles with student nurses. Please treat them with the utmost respect and kindness, and remember what it was like to be a student nurse. Also remember the motto of Middlesex College, that success starts here. 3, for many patients today, especially during this uncertain time in our healthcare world, family and friends may not be present. You must always care for your patients as you would care for the person you love the most. Always remember that they are in an extremely difficult situation, probably not acting as they usually would, and that somebody loves them and is entrusting their health to you. 4, please keep doing those NCLEX questions. Remember to read every word of every question, and remember that you know much more than you think you do. So please repeat after me. I am going to pass NCLEX on the first try. Number 5, continue your education. You've heard that already on this stage. Something new is always occurring in healthcare and nursing. Continue toward your bachelor's, your master's, your doctorate. Take continuing education courses. Stay aware of the latest and the greatest so that you can continue to offer the best healthcare to your patients. The Student Nurse Organization, when they were putting together Nurses' Day gifts, included a saying from Florence Nightingale, who said, "Let us never consider ourselves finished nurses. We must be learning all of our lives." How true this is today as the world's health and healthcare needs have changed so drastically. So as I bid you farewell on this very short journey we have had with you, although I'm sure you thought it was an eternity, please be aware of how pleased we are that you were a part of our program and how proud we all are of all of you. Please maintain those high standards that I spoke about earlier. Maintain those standards throughout your nursing career. We look forward to hearing great things about you as you lead healthcare into the next few decades. Now, I have had everyone in this audience stand to be recognized, and the graduates stood when we did the pinning, but you are the last group that I am as a whole going to have stand to give kudos to you. So will the Middlesex College nursing class of 2021 please stand to be recognized? Congratulations to all of you. Now, we are, other than you to pick up your awards, I have a couple of more housekeeping things to share with you. Don't disappear. Where is Tom? Okay. Tom, what's the weather doing outside? Yay! You all did the no rain dance this afternoon. Yay! We would like to take a group picture of all of you. So what will happen is outside the terrace?
If they just want to follow me out.
Not yet. Don't get up yet. Don't get up yet.
Dismiss them.
When you're done, I'm going to ask you to go out and take a quick picture with Tom outside, and we will make sure we get this picture to all of you. So any of you who are coming back for awards, please go and do the picture first because we don't want to miss any of you, and then you can come back to get the awards. Okay. The other things are, as I mentioned in the very beginning, as you're leaving here to the left, there's a very nice little display area having to do with your graduates. Please take a look there. And for those of you who have some time and are interested, the college is celebrating women's heritage in the Studio Theater Gallery, which is to the right. Most of you came in through the doors over on the right side. If you go through there, there's a beautiful display there of photography. It's beautiful. So please take a look if you have a little bit of time. The other thing which we were able to do is this. This event has been live streamed. And so those of you who have people at home watched it live. But the great news is that all of you can watch it whenever you like in a couple of hours. Okay, there needs to be a little bit of time for some things to be done, but this is there for, what's the word, perpetuity? Did I say that right? For you to enjoy. So, we are so thrilled that you are here. Please enjoy the rest of the day. We are going to ask that anybody who's on this side over here to come down and around because we don't want getting anybody hurt in the back with all of the things in the back there. So, Class of 2021, we salute you. Okay, graduates, go get your picture taken before it decides to rain again.